Have you ever caught yourself wondering why one object pulls your gaze with an unexplainable force, while another leaves you completely indifferent? It seems like a simple matter of taste, a passing whim, a moment of aesthetics. But Carl Jung saw it differently. Jung believed that symbols are the real language of the soul. And that's why what you're about to do isn't just a test. Right now, in front of you, there are not merely four natural objects. They are four paths, four ancient archetypes, four mirrors, reflecting the hidden landscape inside you. One artifact holds the power of absolute clarity and unshakable support, like a truth that doesn't bend. Another pulses with the heat of passion and the weight of lived experience, like a heart that survived and still burns. The third is inseparable from intuition and the whisper of fate, like a sign you feel before you can explain it. And the fourth conceals the magic of deep transformation and the work with the shadow, like a doorway into what you've avoided, yet carries your strength. Your choice cannot be accidental. It's a direct signal of what your subconscious is filled with in this very second. So look slowly, carefully. Which of these objects is calling you? Which symbol resonates with your inner state, as if it recognizes you? Don't analyze with logic for too long. Trust the very first impulse. That first pull, that quiet yes, is where the truth usually lives. If your eyes stopped on the pure, towering crystal, clear as frozen light, its edges sharp and luminous, then hear this as something important. This is not a random preference. People who choose this symbol are often driven by a deep need for honesty, transparency, and a solid foundation. In a world overflowing with noise, chaos, illusion, constant chasing after quick glitter, you are not looking for surface effects. You are searching for the core. A crystal formed in the deep quiet of the earth becomes a perfect metaphor for you. Truth that survives pressure, light that cuts through fog. And it's very possible that you didn't arrive at this desire gently. You may have lived through harsh tests, bitter losses, moments where something you believed in collapsed. But instead of breaking you, those experiences carved one thing into your character. You learned the value of clarity. You need to see at the horizon. You need to know what's real and what's performance, what is a true treasure, and what is cheap decoration. Clear quartz is the structure archetype, something steady, enduring, unchanging under the weight of circumstance. It doesn't soften for convenience. It doesn't bend for approval. So when you choose it, your subconscious is telling a story. You are thirsty for stability. Because right now, there may be too much uncertainty in your life. Relationships that feel like shifting sand. Plans that keep collapsing. People whose promises mean nothing. And you're tired, deeply tired, of that instability. Not just annoyed, not just disappointed, tired in your bones. Your soul is reaching for something that can hold its shape, something that won't vanish the moment you lean on it. And here's the deeper layer. A crystal forms under enormous pressure. That means this symbol doesn't just represent clarity, it represents strength forged by compression. Only through intense pressure does real brilliance appear. So your choice may also reveal this. You've already been through the press of life. Hard lessons, a deep internal crisis, a season where you had to become stronger because there was no other option. But that experience didn't destroy you. It forged you. You learned how to take hits without losing your integrity. You discovered the price of sincerity. And you realized something most people avoid admitting. Social masks eventually turn to dust. Truth remains, That's why this crystal also points to a sharp need for clean relationships, not games, not half-truths, not manipulation. Maybe this is an echo of the past, a time when trust was broken. And now something inside you is saying, enough. I want the essence, not ugly illusions. You crave a bond built on respect and openness. Because for you, trust is not a bonus, it's oxygen. Without it, everything else loses meaning. And deep inside, you carry a personal code. A moral lighthouse you won't betray for short-term gain. Sometimes that makes you look too strict, because you demand clarity where the world offers fog. But that uncompromising quality is also what makes you rare. To some people, your heart may seem cold, like crystal, sharp, unyielding. But beneath that coldness is something warmer than most will ever understand. A hunger for purity, a desire to remove everything false from your life. And yet, inside this choice is also a warning. Your strength is structure and order, but there is a risk of turning that strength into control. You may fight too hard for everything to be perfect, clean, crystal correct. But life is alive, and living things don't always fit into strict schemes. Sometimes growth hides inside imperfection. Sometimes the lesson is buried in the mess. So the crystal is not only calling you toward discipline, it's reminding you to let life breathe. If you chose the clear crystal, your soul is searching for support and a clear path right now. It's saying, stop wandering in the dark. It's time to move toward stability, toward people and commitments that are truly valuable, to cut away what spreads chaos, and hold close what brings real support. Your subconscious is pulling you back to foundational truths: honesty, responsibility, loyalty to what doesn't change. And here is your hidden gift. You can become light for other people. Your directness inspires. People feel you are real, and that attracts them. Yes, some will fear you. Truth always scares those who prefer masks. But for those who are starving for something real, you become a lighthouse. A crystal is also a symbol of completion, of inner integrity. By choosing it, you silently tell the world, I'm not looking for temporary comfort. I'm building something that lasts. In love, in career, in your personal growth. And your choice is a sign that you have enough strength to do exactly that. Let the light of your inner crystal become more than a symbol. Let it become a vital source of guidance for you and for the people you care about. The artifact known as the Heart of the Mountain didn't pull your eyes by accident. It pulses, not just with a crimson glow, but with a primal force that rises from the deepest layers of your own soul. If you instinctively chose this heated, ember-like stone, it means something inside you is burning. Not a loud, performative sparkle, but a dense inner heat. A living coal of memory, experience, and the kind of power that only forms in the furnace of difficult life trials. This is the symbol of true passion, raw honesty, and exposed authenticity. Its deep red light sends a message like a vow: I'm done hiding. And when you stare into this artifact, your subconscious is giving you a clue. Your real path is not the role other people assign to you. It is your true self, the one you were forced to lock away for a long time, deep underground, where no one could touch it. Maybe for years you played familiar scripts. You tried to meet other people's standards. You carried expectations that were never really yours. You learned to survive by adapting, reading moods, predicting reactions, doing what worked for everyone except you. And that's why the heart of the mountain appears now like a sign of approaching change. It's time to rip off the masks, to let yourself be vulnerable, real, and fully alive. Its dark red glow is like magma under the skin. Even if you trained yourself to look calm, controlled, untouchable, this stone reveals the secret. You have been starving for depth. And if lately you feel exhausted by social games, if your inner voice keeps demanding something different, then yes, you heard the call. This artifact is helping you reconnect to your real I. Because within this choice lives a powerful archetype, the survivor. The one who walked through personal fires and still kept the ability to feel tenderness. And hear this carefully. Finding the courage to be yourself after pain is not weakness. It is one of the highest forms of strength. That's exactly what this stone reflects. It confirms you can ignite the space around you, not through manipulation, not through performance, but through the simple fact that you are real. You can become the kind of person who makes it safe for others to take off their armor, because you are learning to stop hiding your own heart. This is the choice of someone who has tasted loneliness, but is now ready for real contact, for honest connection, for relationships that don't require pretending. You're starting to understand something most people fear. Vulnerability isn't a curse. It's your main source of power. And the heart of the mountain is also tied to life passion. Not only romantic passion, but passion for existence itself. Passion for your work, for creation, for the feeling that life is more than routine. If you reached for this stone, it's a signal. Energy is waking up in you. Energy that may have been sleeping for years. Maybe you've grown tired of the same predictable rhythm. The everything is fine life. The artifact reminds you, your soul needs brightness, movement, real emotion. People with indifferent hearts do not choose this symbol. It calls those who are willing to risk burning, risk opening, risk feeling deeply, even if it means you could get burned again. But this fire has a shadow, too. The heart of the mountain warns, don't let your flame become a wildfire. Your passion and hunger for truth can look too intense to others. Your honesty can feel frightening. Some may reject you for being open, and that rejection will hurt. But that pain becomes the place where your true strength crystallizes, because the stone puts you at a crossroads. Stay behind the safe mask to keep others comfortable, or risk everything for real closeness and an unedited life. If this red stone feels like yours, your path is a path of full revelation. You're tired of merely surviving. Now you want to live. You're tired of swallowing your feelings. Now you're ready to speak them. You're tired of fitting into templates. Now you want to be yourself. And this, right here, can become a turning point. The heart of the mountain is like a key that opens rusty locks inside your chest. It tells you, you have the right to be real. You have the right to be weak, because weakness is where your invincibility is born. You have the right to feel passion, because only passion makes life genuine. This choice also signals readiness for radical transformation. Maybe you're on the edge of a new relationship, a bold project, a new chapter. But it will only work if you stop hiding. And for this courage, the artifact gives you something rare, the ability to lead. You may have felt misunderstood and alone for a long time. But once you become real, you'll notice something. The people who are starving for truth begin to gather around you. You become fire in the night, a living beacon. And remember, choosing the heart of the mountain is not choosing something pretty. It's choosing honesty and an inner flame that cannot be extinguished, no matter how heavy the past was. Your subconscious has already delivered its verdict. It's time to live in truth. It's time to open yourself to the world. And that step, even if it feels terrifying, leads you toward a deeper power, the power to be yourself. If your choice fell on the pearlescent shell, it means you responded, quietly, instinctively, to a deep archetype of mystery, the unconscious and subtle, almost sacred intuition. The shell is an ancient symbol of the ocean, eternal rhythms, water, and everything that's safely hidden from harsh sunlight and direct exposure. Its glow doesn't blind, it doesn't shout, it doesn't demand attention the way a bright flame or a sharp crystal does. It draws you in differently, softly, patiently, wrapping you in a gentle inner light that seems to contain an entire world. And if your gaze froze on this artifact, then right now your priority is inner knowing, total trust in what you feel, and a rare ability to read the signals of reality that other people dismiss as coincidence. Your soul is like this shell. It holds echoes of other people's emotions, of events, of storms that pass through your life, yet it remains loyal to its secret nature. Pearl doesn't have one fixed color. It shifts, milk white to pale blue, silver to faint rose, never staying exactly the same. And that makes it a perfect symbol for someone who doesn't live in rigid extremes, but in the space of subtle transitions. You can feel undertones. You notice what hides in pauses between words, in a tiny gesture, in a brief flicker of someone's voice. From the outside, people may call you mysterious or distant. But the truth is simpler. You can't tolerate noise and shallow conversation for long. Surface-level talk drains you. Your choice signals that your subconscious is asking you, right now, to pay closer attention to it. You may have been having unusually vivid dreams, strange dreams, dreams that feel like coded messages. You may be noticing meaningful coincidences, the synchronicities Jung wrote about. It can feel like the world is whispering directions to you, but not through cold logic, through symbols, signs, hints, a repeated song lyric at the exact moment you needed it, a phrase you hear twice in one day, a name that appears in front of you right after you thought about it. Your task right now is not to silence this with rational arguments. Your task is to listen. The pearlescent shell is also tied to a receptive, nurturing energy, regardless of your gender. It is the energy of softness, inner wisdom, observation, not conquest. It may appear as a sudden need to slow down, to finally listen to your body, to move with natural rhythms. You may be at a stage where external achievements and career races no longer satisfy you. Status, money, applause, these start to feel strangely empty. And what becomes more important is inner peace, emotional balance, and the courage to be honest with yourself in private. But this watery path has its shadow. People who choose the shell sometimes dive too deep into their inner ocean, too deep into emotions, fantasies, and illusions. Instead of using intuition as a navigation tool, they can begin hiding inside dreams. Waiting, delaying, telling themselves, "I'll act when the perfect sign appears." And in that waiting, precious moments slip away. The shell warns you, trusting your subconscious is a gift, but without real action, you risk dissolving into your own visions. Intuition needs a backbone, a bridge into practical decisions. And here is another truth. This choice can also mean you have a gift you're using only a small percentage of. It could be deep empathy, feeling people more strongly than they can admit. It could be artistic or writing talent, because art is also the language of the unconscious. It could be the quiet ability to guide others, not through force, but through gentle direction, a calm mentor energy. But to unlock it, you must believe in your way and stop comparing your quiet path to people who move loudly. Your power lives in silence. And now we touch the deeper layer, the shadow work. The shell points to a task, making peace with your shadow. Jung said the shadow is everything we deny in ourselves, yet it still secretly drives our life. For a lunar water-type person, the shadow often looks like fear of strong emotion. You may avoid anger, avoid jealousy, avoid aggression, pretend it isn't there. But it is there. And while you deny it, it drains your energy, showing up as chronic fatigue, sudden anxiety, or long, quiet conflicts. The shell reminds you, a real pearl forms inside only when something uncomfortable is accepted and transformed. You don't become whole by being nice. You become whole by embracing every part of yourself, light and dark. This artifact calls you into an inner journey. It doesn't promise gold or power. It offers something far more valuable, a deeper understanding of yourself. If you go to the end of this path, you'll find the kind of inner clarity the loud world can't give you. So here is your practice, starting now. Write your dreams down. Track strange coincidences. Trust the first feeling that sparks when you meet a new person or walk into a new situation. That isn't superstition. That isn't imagination. That is your personal language of the soul, and it leads to the place where your answers are stored. Choosing the shell is a sign. Stop ignoring the signals of your subconscious. It has been knocking, through dreams, through signs, through the quiet pull of fate. And if you let yourself truly hear it, you'll discover this. There is wisdom inside you, deeper than any book, stronger than any advice, soft and shifting like pearl, yet powerful enough to light even the darkest night. The dark, blue-black piece of obsidian looks like it was made to awaken instinctive respect and a quiet tremor inside the body. If your gaze stopped on this artifact, understand what you chose, a symbol of primal power, extreme depth, and radical transformation. Unlike clear crystals or shimmering shells, obsidian is volcanic glass. It doesn't reflect light. It seems to absorb it, pulling outer darkness into itself and turning it into inner energy. Energy that can become creation or destruction. This symbol is chosen by those who, deep down, are ready to face the most shadowed and frightening parts of their own nature, so they can gain true authority over themselves and their destiny. Obsidian is a stone that in ancient times was considered a powerful protector, born in volcanic fire, then suddenly cooled into solid form. That's the archetype, chaos transformed into structure. It carries the image of something that can absorb negativity, fear, and destructive thoughts, holding them inside its dense core, and turning raw disorder into internal order. So if you chose it, there's a strong chance you've been through something heavy, or you are going through it right now. Maybe life gave you too many challenges. Maybe circumstances forced you to grow up faster than you should have had to. Either way, obsidian appears as a sign. Your character was tempered in the center of a storm, and now you are ready to use that hardness as a tool. But let's go deeper, because this artifact isn't mainly about the outside world. It's about your relationship with darkness, and not only other people's betrayal, disappointment, or chaos. Obsidian points first to your willingness to meet your own shadow. Jung called the shadow the hidden part of the personality where we store suppressed desires, unreleased aggression, old resentment, instincts we were taught to fear, needs we learn to hide. Most people spend their whole lives turning away from that place. They pretend it isn't there. But not you. In you lives a rare readiness to admit your darker sides, so you can transform them into fuel. Obsidian often attracts the ones who become the strong one for everyone else. From the outside, you can seem cold, closed off, unreachable. But that distance is often your survival strategy, how you stay stable when everyone else is falling apart. Your energy is like a fortress with thick walls. Others can shelter behind you during storms. But here is the cost. Behind those walls, there is often deep loneliness, because not everyone can handle closeness with someone who sees through illusions, someone who is drawn to the core, the root, the truth beneath the surface. Choosing obsidian means you carry an enormous capacity for transformation. You have a rare gift, taking the hardest situations, loss, betrayal, crisis, and melting them down into wisdom. For you, pain is not only an ending, it can become a starting point. Your archetype is the alchemist, turning the lead of suffering into the gold of experience. But every great power has a shadow side. The one who stares into darkness too long can allow it to take the heart. Your path is a delicate balance. Use shadow energy without losing your inner light. Otherwise, there's a risk you become someone who sees threats everywhere, always defending, always braced for impact, pushing people away with hardness, trusting no one. Obsidian teaches, true strength is not only the ability to strike back. True strength is also the ability to loosen control, to allow yourself, sometimes, to be simply human. Your energy is like a warrior or a mage, someone who looks behind the curtain of reality. But power by itself doesn't create happiness. Power becomes a blessing only when it protects what you love and builds what matters. Obsidian can be your shield, or it can become your chains. It depends on how you decide to use it. This symbol often appears when someone is near a major life turn, a decision, a break, a new chapter that demands discipline, toughness, and the willingness to go to the end. Obsidian says, you have the resources, you can do it. But it also warns, don't turn your strength into a cold blade aimed at the whole world. Imagine obsidian as a night sky where no stars are visible yet. It can look endless, it can look frightening, but it's in that absolute darkness that dawn is born. Your path is transformation through full acceptance of your whole self, light and dark. Jung believed a person becomes whole when they integrate the shadow. And by choosing this stone, you've already made a decisive step toward that wholeness. Your inner resource always hides in the depths. You are not a surface person. Beautiful wrapping doesn't fool you. You're drawn to the root, to what is hidden from casual eyes. You're willing to dig deep, even knowing that at the bottom you might not find gold, but years of buried pain. Because you understand something rare. A strong future foundation is built from processed experience, even the dirty parts. And here is your main challenge now, learning to trust people again. Even if you are used to being self-sufficient, untouchable, unbreakable. Remember this, not every person approaching you is an enemy. Sometimes someone comes not to destroy your walls, but to share the power those walls have been protecting. So the choice of obsidian is the highest sign of maturity and readiness to meet your real self. But it's also a serious reminder. Don't let shadow swallow you completely. Stay connected to the light, the reason you dared to pick up this stone at all. Obsidian is a living reminder. Real power is not control over others, True might is the ability to guide your own shadow and turn it into fuel for endless inner growth. You chose a difficult, thorny path, but it leads to a depth of wisdom and a strength that can survive anything time throws at it. Every artifact you saw today was not simply a natural object. Each one became a symbol, reflecting your current inner reality and what lives in the most hidden rooms of your soul. The clear mountain crystal revealed your hunger for clarity, structure, and a foundation that doesn't collapse. The heart of the mountain answered your inner call for passion, truth, and life force, the courage to live without masks. The pearlescent shell carried the energy of intuition and connection to what can't be seen directly, the quiet language of dreams, signs, and inner knowing. And the obsidian pointed to the shadowed yet powerful part of you, your readiness for transformation, and the hidden source of your strength. Understand this. There are no right or wrong answers in this test. There is only your path, your depth, and what is vital for you in this moment. Sometimes we instinctively reach for light. Sometimes we reach for the saving darkness. Sometimes we reach for forgotten memories. And sometimes we reach for new worlds that are only beginning to form inside the imagination. But the choice made by the heart is always brutally honest. And that's why this simple interaction with images is not a game. It is a mirror. In it, your archetype appeared, your current energy, the life stage you're standing in right now. And remember, symbols change as we change. Today, one artifact feels close. Tomorrow, your soul may choose another. That isn't inconsistency. That is life. Because the soul is alive. It moves, learns, searches for answers, sheds old layers, and renews itself. So your choice today is not a final verdict. It's a snapshot, a truthful photograph of your inner reality here and now. And if this small journey helped you look a little deeper into yourself, if you finally heard that quiet voice that usually drowns in the noise of everyday life, then it has already done something valuable. Now I want to invite you into something simple, but meaningful. Write in the comments which artifact you chose, and tell us honestly, how much did the description match what you feel inside? Your response is not just feedback. It's another facet, another mirror. Through your words, we see not only you, but ourselves too. And if this video felt like an insight, if it opened a door you want to keep walking through, support this work with a like and subscribe. For you, it takes a second. For us, it's a signal that we're moving in the right direction, that these inner journeys truly help. And as Jung wisely noted, those who look outward see only dreams. Those who look inward awaken. May your choice today, this one small moment of honesty, be a quiet but confident step toward that awakening.